Ja, sådär någonting. Okay. So I'll do it sort of half English, half Swedish, something like that. So I'm just gonna. Ja, just det, så jag inte typ flåsar. Det. Nej, jag andas pyttelite bara. Så någonting. Är det fine? Ja. Okay, I'm just gonna start as we have this lovely kind of video footage of sort of other smart projects. I'm just going to sort of start by talking a little bit about myself and how why I'm kind of how I got involved in this. I'm a light designer, and I had when I quit my job, I decided I wanted to start my own business, or as all people in Sweden are advised, they said, start your own business. This is how you do it. And I went, great. And and I kind of and it was going fairly well, but then after about 6 months, the work started drying up a little bit, and I sort of realized I don't have any kind of social. There's no social security that is there to sort of fetch me now, as I'm self-employed. I'm completely on my own, so it's sort of like just. So I had to sort of get work in a kindergarten and here and there, and sort of to make ends meet. And it's this kind of, and I realized that I am now part of what in Swedish is called prekariatet, which means that you don't have a pension and you don't have any kind of social security whatsoever, and you are completely reliant on drawing in your own work. Now, in some businesses, this is quite. This is fairly unproblematic, but in the creative industries and in the creative businesses, it's fairly problematic, because you are work is not that regular, and you will have dry spots in your sort of in the work that you do, nearly more by default than as it's standard. So it is very problematic that we have this kind of issue in Sweden where you are everyone is advised. There's a whole structure for everyone to start their own business and have that sort of a form for being able to do their own business, for being able to do their own projects, and what you're actually trained to do. Whether you are like a graphic designer like yourself, or in the an actor, or even as an architect if you're working outside of a bureau. So basically, it's we're seeing that there are that this is causing major distress for a lot of people who are falling outside of these structures, and they can't have any kind of form of security. So anyway, I'm gonna just so that was my sort of how I got involved with this, and I joined the organization where I'm coming from now, which is called SMart, and we so I'm just gonna switch over. Let's see. And we started something which is called SMart Startup, which is basically it's for people like myself who want to do a lot of things and who may need a sort of a softer start on that business model, that you can't sort of plunge yourself in from day one and be in that precarious situation. So what is SMart? We're something which is called Société Mutuelle pour Artistes. It's a Belgian organization from the beginning, and it started as to support artists who did not have a regular employment within the larger institutions. So they were basically, so they were freelancers. And but the model for artists has sort of spread across society. So now we have freelancing nurses, we have freelancing IT specialists, we have freelancers in teachers. So we have freelancers in a lot of other areas which are not at all connected to the creative industries. So the name has stuck, but it's still it is still the same thing. So I'm just gonna. SMart is a European cooperative. It's a cooperative movement for creative freelancers mainly. And we have about 80,000 members across Europe, mainly in France, Belgium, Germany, and Spain. So we have offices in about 9 countries and about 35 offices. So we are all connected, and we sort of help each other out as we have in an increasingly sort of mobile work economy. This is something that we find is very useful. We are a non-profit organization, and the goal is basically to simplify, but also to work with issues of security, like I was talking about before. I'm going to talk a bit more about how, what exactly it is that we do. We are one of the co-organizers of this week, which is called European Freelancers Week, which has been taking place across 20 different nations across Europe and about 3,000 different events. And it is partly as we act partly as employers, we are partly as a union representing and being a voice for the members. Freelancers is sort of by default a very sort of individualistic and lonely group of people who don't have united voices. So this is something which we're kind of working towards. We ask ourselves, who is SMart? At this point, it is a lot of people. It is anyone from artists to architects, from circus artists to computer programmers, and anything in between that sort of spectra. So it's fairly wide. We don't. None of our members have their own company, but they act within SMart. So SMart is the body that we act from, and people, and all these people, or all these 80,000 people, are employed by SMart, so they are employees. So what do we offer? SMart Startup is offering the opportunity or the possibility to start your own company without losing the social security network that you need, and that we think is actually quite disgraceful that so many people are being thrown out of the social securities and are actually living sometimes quite far below the social minimum standards. Yeah. Yes. We work it is similar to that. One difference is that because, as you can see, we can fakturera, you can invoice without having your own company. So in that point, it's similar, but we have, because you are employed, and because we have a personal relationship with all of our employees, It means that we have a different relationship with the a-kassa, for example, and the försäkringskassa, and which means that we have another kind of it's more legitimate. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's correct. No. And because we are, so we are just in this, at this point we have a big discussion with the Unionens a-kassa, because it is, and we have, and because they know that we have a different kind of, we're a non-profit organization, we can have a different kind of dialogue with them. We're not coming from a sort of, yeah, we have, there's, yeah. Mm-hmm. Your customers will become our customers, and we will invoice them on your behalf, and then we will pay you your salary. Yeah, yeah. No, we're not agents. We take fees as well. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. But it's also, I think there's another, we have, I mean, a lot of people who are sort of in two minds about what to do. You know, should they be, should they start their own company, or should they, you know, do it this way? Should they start their business in this way? I think what weighs quite heavily as well is that you need to be able to, for example, if you have a rent, if you are working from here, you will have a space. You need to pay for that, and you can draw those costs with Smart, but you can't do that with the frilansare. So that's, I think that's quite a big plus, and it's sort of, and if you're buying a new computer, or if you're yeah. Yeah, I think this is a big discussion that is going on at the moment, because the unions, both Unionen and all the unions, know that their systems they're very old. You know, they are related to a time which is not our time. It's they're exactly, so people work in completely different ways. So you can't say that, you know, or you can only, and they know this, and so and are looking at. They are a little bit using it, I would actually say, but this at this point in time, a lot of people are experiencing great difficulties in their life because of this, because there's such a gap between the reality and the pace of how we're moving in this society, and how authorities or the union are still thinking about, you know, our the workplace. You know, it's not modern. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so as I was saying, we'll have you can, you know, draw your own costs. So for example, if you have a computer that you need to buy, or you have rental costs or stuff like that, this is something that you can do with us. Now I think that this is one of the this was one of the things that I found really useful for me when I was, and that's to be able to do simple collaborations with other people, so that if I want to bring all of you into my project, if I have a gig doing something, then I can do that without you and you and you and you and you and you having their own companies and invoicing me. So it's that kind of fluidity in how, and this is also related to how we work today. We don't have one workplace with 5 different colleagues. That's some workplaces still work like that, but a lot don't. And this is also not adjusted to in how we've built structures. So it's still the case that we all need to start our own firms and start invoicing each other and feeding a giant cadre of auditors and revisors and so on. So this is something that, so basically if what I've done in my project is I've got the project and then I decide who I want to work with. I have 3 programmers from the KTH that I usually work with doing our light projects, and 2 artists. So none of them have their own firms because they all work for 2 work for Ericsson and 1 work for some other phone company, and so I can just invite them into my project and then I can pay them their salary from, so they receive a taxed salary at the end of the project, which for me is really, I don't have to demand from them that they should start their own company, and we can all be in our project with all our costs that are in this project, which I think is a good way to do collaborations. And then it's simplifying international collaborations. I mean, because we have offices in 9 countries, we have 35 offices, and we have a direct connection. So it means that if you are going to work in Berlin, or if you have 3 colleagues in Berlin that you want to collaborate with, it's very easy to do. It's just a phone call away, and it's very the economic administration in that project, because of all the VATs and so on, is very doable, and it's nothing that you have to worry about. It's sort of our headache. And then just advice and a personal sort of what you call it, counselor. Thank you, advisor. This I brought in from the project that I was doing. Now this was in the UK. As I was saying, we were about 5 different people from Sweden, all coming in from different areas, none of them with their own company, and also with 3 different people in the UK. So, and if I had been running my own company, having to administer this, it would have been a nightmare. It would have been so difficult with all the different costs and the VATs and taxes and yeah. So for me, this was a great relief. So basically now I've just, but I want to finish with a test, and it's called the SMART test. So basically, if you answer no to any of these questions, it means that you are smart, and you're welcome to join us. Thank you.